What's up, board game people? I have to admit, I haven't been this excited about a campaign launching since Kingdoms Forlorn earlier this year. Today is the day. Elden Ring from Steamforged Games has launched on Kickstarter, and funding has already passed the $1.5 million mark. I don't get any money or all expense paid trips for my videos from game companies. Elden Ring, a collaboration between George R.R. Martin, the writer of the Game of Thrones saga, and From Software, creators of the Dark Souls series, burst into the video game scene in an Xbox showcase announcement at E3 2019 and captured the imagination of fans of the genre. The video game released in February of 2022, surviving the development hell of the pandemic, and it lived up to and exceeded its own hype. Elden Ring is truly a special game to so many, and to see it brought to us as a board game is both a blessing for the fans and a monumental undertaking for Steamforged Games. For many, this may be a make or break campaign for Steamforged. After the rocky launch and handling of Dark Souls, the question truly lingers whether they can get this right. If they do, they'll have a series that can live on for many, many years to come. If they don't, they may lose the faith of their fans and critics alike. For many, this may also be the first taste of big box, big money board games. The hope is that the Elden Ring board game will be a good chaperone, bringing even more gamers to our corner of the hobby. In Elden Ring, you play as one of the many tarnished souls who have been exiled from the lands between, only to now be called back to try to help repair the Elden Ring. You begin as a lowly tarnished, weak and without direction, but along your journey through the lands between, you'll gain power and allies, defeat the demigod children of Queen Marika, previous ruler of the lands between, and claiming their runes which are required to repair the Elden Ring and perhaps even become the Elden Lord. The story and world building is rich, deep, and full of interesting characters, intriguing conflicts between demigods, and secrets begging to be found. Steamforged is set out to release only a very small portion of the game to begin with. Through the campaign's many boxes, you'll gain access to the Weeping Peninsula, the Realm of the Grafted King, Stormvale Castle, the Flying Dragon Aguil, and the End Tree Avatar. Should the game prove successful, they have plans to release further content in the future. The Realm of the Grafted King campaign is a cooperative campaign for 1 to 4 tarnished set in the sprawling regions of the land between, known as Limgrave. The glory of this realm is now faded, and though it's fallen to ruination, a wealth of mysteries and forgotten locations nonetheless await those bold and intrepid of soul. The game has potential to become absolutely massive and span years. Even with just the initial offering, I think it might be fair to categorize this as a lifestyle game. All told, Limgrave will offer over 90 hours of campaign. Here, there are buzzwords aplenty. I already used one, a lifestyle game, but Steamforged has provided us a nice list. Open world, dungeon hybrid, swift setup, diceless combat, battle stance system, solo or co-op. Here I think these are pretty good selling points and outline a lot of what makes the game tick. The game includes several different types of quests to undertake and explore. Standard quests, where you'll explore then face a dungeon section. Exploration quests, where you'll explore on the overworld map only. Gauntlet quests, where you'll only play a dungeon section. And narrative quests, where you'll follow the narrative entries in the quest book and choose how to progress. These quests can lead to most anything. Battle against lesser enemies in dungeons or found in the overworld is usually resolved between a single tarnished and whatever threat they've discovered, though you can use an effigy of the martyr token to summon another tarnished to your aid. Bosses are another beast altogether, and you'll want as many allies as you can gather by your side. Most or all tarnished will generally participate in boss fights. Player-beloved summons are also a vital part of the game. You can obtain spirit ashes and use rebirth monument tokens or a spirit calling bell to bring a spirit to battle at your side. Solo players have even easier access to summons to aid them along their path. Finally, the round table hold is available between quests to allow for crafting, upgrades, leveling up, and access to merchants. They really seem to have included many of the key elements into the board game, which will make the lands between feel alive for newcomers and somewhat familiar for those making a return. So why would you back now instead of waiting for retail? Well, it's all about those Kickstarter exclusives. Here you're getting an Iron Fist Alexander miniature for free for backing during the live campaign. You also are getting access to 2 Kickstarter exclusive expansions. The Flying Dragon Aguil and the Entry Avatar expansions will not be making their way to retail. All pledges that are made through crowdfunding will also receive all of their content in limited edition boxes with gold foil and spot gloss varnish finishes. There are far more exclusives that we'll talk about in the stretch goals section here in a little bit. This video isn't meant to be a deep dive into how to play or a detailed comparison of the video game to the board game. I'm only trying to help backers, seasoned and new, understand what is offered here and give them an idea of what the game is about. So with that in mind, let's take a look at those pledge levels. First up, to answer an oft-asked question, you can pledge $1 for access to the Pledge Manager. This $1 pledge will not get you the Iron Fist Alexander miniature for free though. The first real pledge level is the entry pledge level sitting at £75 and getting you the standalone Weeping Peninsula expansion. This comes with a 20-hour campaign without the need for any other expansions. At £152, you grab the core pledge, which gets you the Realm of the Grafted King core box, the free Iron Fist Alexander miniature, and the daily unlocks valued at over $100. This pledge includes over 40 hours of content. Finally, you can get the all-in pledge for £364, granting you over 90 hours of content and everything that is currently on offer. You get the Realm of the Grafted King core box, the Weeping Peninsula standalone expansion, Stormvale Castle, the Flying Dragon Aguil, the Entry Avatar, the free Iron Fist Alexander miniature, and all daily unlocks. The add-on section doesn't hold anything new, but it does allow you to build your own bundle as you choose. At £75, you get the Weeping Peninsula standalone expansion. For £102, they're offering Stormvale Castle. The Flying Dragon Aguil comes in at £51, and for another £51, you can get the Entry Avatar expansion. You can add an additional copy of the core pledge for £152, and an additional all-in for £364. Steamforged has chosen to use daily reveals in lieu of stretch goals. The daily reveals are offered to anyone with a core pledge or all-in pledge. These reveals combine into an expansion of their own that should help flesh out the region of Limgrave even more, and adding even more content with more miniatures and maybe even a few surprises. Shipping for the project is quite reasonable in today's market of soaring prices. For the all-in to ship to the US mainland is only £49. Shipping in the UK is £39, and Europe is broken into several regions but all seem practical. As you move out of those, shipping becomes more of a mixed bag. One plus is that VAT and taxes are covered for a wide range of regions including the UK, US, EU, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and China. So now let's talk my thoughts and opinions on this one. I truly believe this may be a make or break for Steamforged Games. It might not break them as a company, and I would hate to see that, but this might break any good graces they have left with their fan base, if handled poorly. I'm betting though that they've taken this into account, and I expect we'll see clean systems with good use of mechanics in this one. I've read the rulebook and nothing stands out as total red flags, and honestly, after reading how the game plays, I'm not so worried about those solo fights you'll be having against normal enemies. I think there will still be plenty of player interactions with most game sessions. I may eat those words, but it was an important objective to make this into a multiplayer experience, and I'm hoping for the best. Sadly, a rulebook is a far cry from actually getting your hands on the game. I personally find it impossible to say if a game will be fun by reading a book about it, so only time will tell. The miniatures here are exceptional, and they've chosen a good variety of familiar faces for us to square off against. My biggest complaint with the miniatures will mirror many others. I'd like to see sculpted bases added onto the miniatures. The map tiles are great, but the quest book battle boards seem a little lacking in detail of the world. Having sculpted bases would be a great way to really tie the miniatures to Elden Ring and increase the realism. I love the sense of exploration that's offered while still keeping you confined to a small section of the overland map. Players can focus on what they want or what they need to improve their characters, but in the end, the story progresses and the mightiest of foes will take cooperation and careful planning to fell. There's a lot of content being offered here, probably more than most will need. They've broken down the pledge levels into manageable chunks that will allow most to find a level of content that is comfortable for them. The entry pledge is quite easily the best deal here for someone who's uncertain about this type of game, the company, or board games in general. It's priced right to grab novice backers without the fear of overcommitting. And there's a good amount of gameplay, components, and value offered. The core pledge is again a giant leap in the amount of content offered, and it still falls within the range of normal big box core games. Right now, I think you might have a valid argument questioning the value of the pledge, but after you see all the daily reveals, I have no doubt that the value will be there. The all-in is up there in price, but honestly, it's within the realm of reason for those used to just targeting that all-in pledge. Again, the exclusives here are huge selling points for me at either the core or the all-in. Without those, it would be a harder pill to swallow. This game has so much promise. If they pull off a good launch with a well-edited rulebook and fun, workable mechanics, they'll have no problem keeping fans coming back for the next Kickstarter. There's so much to explore beyond Limgrave and the lands between. I love these type of games because I always have something new to come back to. I know for others, though, that this will border too much on a lifestyle game, and they may avoid it. This being Steamforged, there's no doubt they can deliver on the campaign, and that the component quality will be good as well. For me, I just want to see how they develop the individual systems. Crafting could be great. Upgrading equipment also adds another layer to play and strategy. I want to see the upkeep as fun as the exploration and not an afterthought. I'm still on the fence on how the map is generated, but from what little is shown, it seems like an interesting system that'll keep things fresh. While we won't get the epic vistas and menacing looking ruins towering over us, I hope that they can convey some sense of the wonder and awe that you feel when playing the video game. Overall, I believe this to be a faithful adaptation of the video game, with the potential to hit top 10 lists once it's released and fully fleshed out. Setup indeed looks quick, teardown as well. The rules are easy enough to pick up, with enough wiggle room to allow them to adapt to the scenarios on hand. Hopefully the writing and flavor text is up to par with the component quality. Here I believe that's extremely important. What you can't see needs to be translated to text that grips the players. Writing is one thing that we're not seeing much of here. I'd love a sample of that quest book. Variety is also another concern with games like this. For most people to hold up to a 90-hour plus campaign and still be thirsty for more by the next Kickstarter, variety is going to be key. More things to do, more ways to do them, and more in different types of interaction. We need to be surprised each time we play the game. No doubt, Elden Ring will be expansive, perhaps expensive, and entertaining. What remains to be seen is if they'll use the IP to its fullest, pull out all the stops, and really find new ways to wow the more jaded backers. If you like long campaign games, and Elden Ring interests you, even if you aren't a video gamer, I think this likely will be a great match for you. Consider the core or even the all-in. If you're on the fence about value, wait to see the reveals. If you're on the fence about gameplay, new to this and just wanting to dip your toes in, or if you just want a taste before you go all in, grab that entry-level pledge. In the 20+ hours, you'll make a decision for yourself. I caution against ever going solely on the word of a content creator when you make backing decisions, even if they are a part of the very small pool of creators who've actually gotten to play the game. Make a decision that makes sense for you. If you're unsure, don't go all in. You don't need to enjoy this game. If it's great, the next Kickstarter campaign will likely offer much of what you see here, and a new region or two. This is a game situating itself for the long haul. If it's good, it'll be around and available. Personally, this is my all-in for the month. I love the video game, and I'm intrigued by the lore, and I think they've done a wonderful job adapting it into a board game. I look forward to seeing the project evolve over the next 9 days, and my wallet can just hate me later. Just like Elden Ring, there are several other amazing projects out there, live now. I hopefully will find time to cover a few more this week. I'm still in the midst of a family emergency that looks to be ending soon. I'm doing my best to keep up, but I know I'll fall behind here at the end. Please pardon any lack of fresh videos over the next week or so. I'm doing my best to keep the content flowing, and the algorithm can just be mad at me. Have a great holiday season. Cherish your time with your loved ones, and I'll talk to you soon.